Good afternoon, and welcome to Dr. Khanna's Returning Youth Show, where we are returning youth and young adults back to a productive life after incarceration. Please visit returningyouth.com and donate today. That's returningyouth.com. We are live on the radio to over 30 million homes on WPAT 930 AM every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're streaming live on Facebook at facebook.com/returning youth, as well as on YouTube. Just search Returning Youth on YouTube. Dr. Khanna is an attorney, a child safety advocate, a servant of the underserved, and a champion of the nonprofit Voice of the Kids. Dr. Khanna launched his Post-Incarceration Juvenile Justice Reformation Act initiative, also known as the Returning Youth Initiative. Dr. Khanna saw that the Reformation Act did not adequately care for ex-offenders once they were released and decided he would address this with the Returning Youth Initiative by providing post-incarcerated young adults with housing and training, along with the required medical and psychological assistance needed to secure a job, build their careers, and greatly improve their lives. I'm your host, Angelica Robinson, and I am here with my co-host, Ryan Fagan. Thank you, Ryan, for being here. And we have a very, very special guest today. Our special guest is Patrick Richardson. Patrick Richardson is the founder and chief operations manager of Fish Fry. Fish Fry is a community program committed to introducing inner city youth to fishing while also providing mentoring services. Fish Fry is committed to bringing the community together through fishing and servicing the youth. So thank you, Patrick, for being here. We are so grateful to you and welcome.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And Ryan, hi. Thank you for
Hello.
being here too.
Hello. How are you, Angelica? It's good to see you again. Good to be with you.
Good to see you. I mean, well, let's get into this because Patrick, I've got lots of questions. Please tell us, how did you get started with Fish Fry, and what made you want to create a program like this?
Well, a little background. My father is West Indian from the island of St. Martin, and he came to this country, came to New London, Connecticut, made his way there, and they eat fish every day. And my mother is actually from Guyana, South America, and she came to New London with her family. And when they got together, their diet was fish every day. So my dad was like, "Hey, I'm about to go catch us some fish," you know? So now I would go get my buddies, and that's how my friends got involved, is because I went to them and, you know, we went fishing, caught fish, brought them back to my father. And then how Fish Fry came about was I was working at a facility for socially and emotionally disturbed youth, and it was actually a country school, Waterford Country School. They do a lot of good things in our area with kids, and they also have like 3 lakes that were loaded with fish. And being a fisherman, I went down there, I took a couple kids down there, and every cast we were catching a fish, and the fish was jumping out of the water. And I went to another coworker who was working at the country school, who was a fisherman. I said, "Man, we should start our own fishing show, man. You know, these fishing shows, they're boring, you know, they're not exciting. We should start our own show." And so we initially started out with the idea to have an outdoor show where we showed people fishing, hunting, camping, and everyone's included. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese, doesn't matter who you are. And we started to do that and started recording it and filming it, and then making little videos of it. And then somebody suggested that we do a fish fry for the homeless. So we did it. We went out, caught the fish, came back, cleaned them, like 400, 500 fish, cleaned them, cooked them, sold the plates, gave the money to the homeless. And then we did it once. And then like after that, we were like committed to do it every year. We just didn't do it last year because of COVID, but that's how that got going. And then eventually somebody came to me and said, you know, I should set up a Facebook with Fish Fry, you know, and I said, go for it. And he set it up, and the group is just grassroots and it's grown. And we do different things in the community. We take kids fishing, we take single moms, single dads, handicapped people, vets. Right now I'm currently working with people that are just out of jail facilities, trying to make it on their own. and taking those folks out fishing and getting them exposed to it. So the stuff that you guys are doing is fantastic. It's what I do. Check us out on Fish Fry on Facebook. The more members that are signed up, helps us out. You'll have to stop me because I'll keep going once I get going. My nickname is actually Never Quit. And my friends will tease me. They'll say, you never quit talking. But
no, Patrick, I really appreciate what you're doing. You and I had a chance to meet and talk a couple weeks ago, and I spent the last time just looking at at some of the videos and things that you've got up about your Fish Fry, and just the interaction that you have with these young people, watching their excitement, getting this exposure, watching these, before we went on the air, you and I were talking about, one particular with a young man, just, talking about helping him build patience and, and develop patience sitting on the shore and just, sort of sitting in the boat and, you go through the day and you may not get a bite, may not get anything. And then eventually something comes along and that just changes the whole outlook. And watching that and seeing, that was fascinating to me. And it's great to see these kids being involved in things, showing that people from all walks of life that don't necessarily, that they care about them. There's different outlets, different things, great things to do. And you truly are that idea, that proverb of, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but you teach him to fish, you fed him for a life. And not only with the real food, but you teach these life lessons, and that's powerful. So talk about how you impacted, how you see that with the different age groups that you work with.
Okay. So for me, I was taught by my father, they eat fish every day. So I was taught, at an early age that you never kill anything unless you plan on eating it. And then if you do, and never kill more than you can eat, never take more than you can eat. So one of the things that these young men learn, whether they be young kids or just out of a facility, is they have the power to kill the fish, take its life. But they learn that if they release it, it grows bigger. Another guy that might catch that fish and get that experience. So one of the things that I see that they learn, and it really gets me motivated, is that they learn compassion. And then, I'll be honest with you, I worked with people that, were pretty rough in the streets. And then when you see them and they don't even want to put the hook, they don't want to puncture the worm with a hook. But yet this guy's been in jail for some heavy duty stuff. And so what does that tell you? It tells you there's compassion in there. It's in there. So, to me, it teaches them, you can kill the fish. If it's edible, do you want to kill the fish and take it home and eat it? No, I'm going to let it go. So that whether they're an adult or a kid, they learn compassion. They learn the value of life. That's just one little thing. There's so many, I could go on and on, but that's just one little thing that's very important.
Absolutely. And just, you talk about that, is that connection that you talk about, they've done some horrible things in their life coming up to here. But you talk about, and they see that worm, even that worm is something that's a life, that's a connection they wouldn't have had, that having that in their hand. And I think that's powerful. That's a powerful image that you've created there. So,
or just even to get a night crawler. Tell me how you get a night crawler. Just taking them out at night after it rains and pouncing on the night crawlers when they stick out of the grass. Kids, even the adults, they didn't know how the night crawlers came about. That's even fun. Like you said, not even the catching the fish, just the boat ride out there, being in an atmosphere where they're not accustomed to. I get a charge out of that, seeing their face out, just how they feel that experience,
All right, so I got a couple of questions. And the first one is going to be, what is a night crawler? Is that the same thing as a worm? Okay, so please tell me.
Wait, you want to see Fly Guy?
Look at that. Oh, there you go.
That is
right.
awesome.
There you go.
That's Fly Guy. Just something I created.
So we can also find merch on the. We'll get to the website in a moment, but we can find some merch on the website. That's awesome. I love that design. But please tell me, because I am a novice. Well, I know a little bit about fishing, but I don't know what a night crawler is specifically. So if you could help me there, that'd be awesome.
Well, that's the thing about it. Fishing doesn't cost a lot of money. So if you want bait to go fishing, after a rain, usually the night crawlers will come up out of the ground and they'll mate and they'll lock together on top of the grass. So you go out at night and you shine the light and then you pounce on them and you grab them. But if you pull it too hard, they'll break in half and they're no good. So you have to literally pounce on it and then very finesse it out of the ground and pull it out of the ground. That's how you get a night crawler. And those are used mostly for fresh. I'm sorry?
Are they different from worms?
No, well, you have, just like anything else, you have all different kinds of worms. Gardener worms are the little tiny skinny ones that you can't get that on a hook. You want a big, thick Georgia wiggler, night crawler that wiggles around real crazy. You want one that makes the fish go crazy. That's nuts.
Okay, I'm with it. I'm a gardener myself, so I have seen all kinds of different types of worms, and I whenever I find a big fat juicy one, I'm like, oh, make sure I put that in with my tomatoes, you know. But so I'm just trying to get an idea of like what types of creatures we're looking at to kind of.
And those are mostly for freshwater as a night crawler. Now you got sandworms, all right? You'll find those in the marshes, in the mud, and those have little pinchers on them, and they bite. Yeah. When they use those in salt water. So there's a difference in the worms. There's a few different. So if you took a night crawler and went saltwater fishing, they won't bite it, you know, but you take the sandworm with the pinchers, throw that in salt water, they love it. That's the most expensive bait. We can't afford that. We use frozen squid and cut it up. It's like $9 for a dozen of that, which comes into my sponsors. The bait stores have been tremendous for me, you know, and they provide me with the bait because it's very expensive. And guess what? The kids just like feed the fish with the bait, you know what I mean? So it gets expensive.
So now, do the kids work at, you know, a couple like weeks or months at a time? I know a lot of times when you have professional fishermen, they're working months at a time. And then they're off for part of the season. So like, how are you training with those kids? Do they work on the boat for a couple weeks at a time?
No breaks for fish fry. No. But I don't know if you didn't know about night crawler, you probably don't know about raccoon hunting. Back in the days, you know, folks had a coon hound, and at night would let the hound loose, and it runs a raccoon up the tree. They shoot the coon out the tree, and that's how they fed their family. Coon hunting. So a lot of people, my father is a coon hunter. He hunts raccoons at night. And I take the kids out when the season gets too cold for fishing. I take the kids out without a gun, where they see how the dog tracks a raccoon, runs it up the tree, which you probably didn't know. A coon dog will, when it's on a raccoon's track, it barks. When it follows and chases the raccoon up the tree, it changes its bark. So, that means you got a raccoon up the tree. So a lot of people don't know that. And that's what we do when fishing season's over. We take them rabbit hunting without a gun, coon hunting without a gun, ice fishing. And that takes us through the winter time as far as that goes. But pretty much year round, we have stuff.
But when they're on the boat, are they working on the boat for a couple of weeks at a time? Because there's a whole bunch of things to learn about fishing without actually fishing, just learning how to handle a boat, learning how to work on the boat, how to clean the boat, all those different types of things. Are they working on those decks for a couple of weeks at a time, or how is that process?
Well, I really can't hire the people for the boats, but I do right now. We have one young man who they just offered him a job to start next year. And then a lot of the older guys, the men are just out, like they're looking for full-time work, and you know what I mean? But just like 2 guys, I think, have hooked up with a boat captain, but they are able to do that if they want. The boat captains in our area are fantastic. So, you know, and they have to legit be good to get on that boat with the boat, charter boats. So that takes time. But I do have one guy in line to do it. He's in high school right now.
So how long is that process for the kids to like work with you before they can like have an opportunity to work on a bigger boat?
Well, like you have to go out and learn how to tie the different rigs. You know, if you're black fishing, your rig is different. If you're sea bass fishing, so you have to go out enough to learn how to actually tie the rigs, how to take a fish off without getting hooked, because that happens a lot. Yeah. Kids get hooked. And that's the hardest part is, you know, you say, oh, you took a bunch of kids fishing. Yeah, I was ducking hooks all day, you know? So they got to get used to that stuff. And it takes a while, but they can transition to that if they're really into it, like anything else.
And you're saying it takes a while. What's a while?
Again, that's up to the individual boat captain, because they're the ones giving the guys the jobs, the kids the job, or the adult out of jail or wherever they come from. That's between him and the captain. Like, again, he's got to go on the boat. Could be a season if they, some of the guys I work with come from areas where they're already versed as fishermen. So just an introduction to a boat captain, and he's got the skills, he could do it right away, I imagine, if the position was available. So just depends.
So there isn't an average of like when you have your kids working with you and before they are actually have the skill set enough to possibly do it for a living.
Right. There's no set time on that. That's yet to be determined. I haven't seen anybody go through that whole process yet. Like I said, to be on that boat, you have to be well versed. So
Right. How long has Fish Fry been happening? How long have you been running it?
My father, I'd say 12 years we've been filming and doing Fish Fry. And we started it basically because my father got diagnosed with cancer. And then one of my high school classmates, best friend, also got diagnosed with cancer. And so we started it 12 years ago with the intention to just film it, capture the memories. If something happened to one of us, we would always have the memories, and then just mutate it into us doing fish fries for the community and doing all these things. So yeah, about 12 years we've been filming. Like, I have an extensive library of fishing with different folks from all different backgrounds.
So how do you engage with, or how do you find the people that you work with, the people that go out fishing with you, or the people that are in your program? How do you get in touch with them, or how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, well, like my whole life, like some people are mechanics, some people are doctors. My whole life has been in and out of working in facilities, from top, the most strict facilities to where I'm at now, which is right now with me. I have somebody with me right now. I'm actually on the clock right now. When we're done with this, we're going fishing. He's laughing at me right now. You can come over here. Come over. So come over here. This is Eric. Go ahead. Crouch down. Take the mask. Okay. Eric, he's 20 what?
Next year. Next month.
He's been in facilities his whole life since he was a little kid. He's got his own apartment now. And we just linked up. Actually, be honest with you, we've been like the last 3 days been fishing 8 hours a day.
5 days.
Yep. So yeah, he's one of the guys I work with. And you got anything you want to say? What do you think?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks. So, yeah. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah. And he's at a point in his life, like, he's a grown man. He doesn't have to have permission to speak or to be on camera or to do anything he wants. And he's exactly what I think you guys are about, is to the next level. He heard me say, I'm here to get him to, he has his own apartment right now in our facility, but the next step is outside of that facility on his own. So.
And the majority of the folks that come and work with you, are they mostly post-incarcerated individuals?
A mixed bag. Everyone. I have everyone. Yeah, Fish Fry. I have. Yeah, because I like I said, I started out working with the kids. When I got out of college, I went and started working at Waterford Country School, which was a school for kids.
Yeah.
And then since then, since then was all broken up. Just all different people. The whole spectrum.
What are some of the differences that you've noticed with kids or youth or young adults that were previously incarcerated and now they're joining the Fish Fry and working on the Fish Fry? What types of skill sets or mindsets do you work with those individuals as opposed to some of your other kids?
So I think I provided you guys with a little clip I did just through iMovie real quick, and that group is a sober house, halfway living house, where those guys are just out of jail and struggling with addictions and stuff. And that clip you're gonna see was from this year. The previous year, one of the guys was not in there anymore. Things happen, and he fell victim to to addiction. And, you know, the year before he was on the boat with us, and I gave him a fish fry shirt because he's a muscle guy and he was on the boat. And from the minute he got on the boat, he didn't care about catching a fish. He didn't care. He was just, woo, like you guys probably tell, I'm amped up. And he was just like me. And he told me a story, how he got incarcerated, that he's out of jail, he's in the halfway house, and he wants to reunite with his daughter. And we did stay connected after that fishing trip. And I met him in the community at a fishing spot, and we went fishing. He got out of the halfway house, had an apartment with a woman, was seeing his child. Then his mother passed away, and that was it. And then his mom passed away, and that was
a wrap.
That's the struggles, you know, when people get into that environment and that addictions and those personal traumas and those personal heartaches can bring that back to you. And I can tell just by you, you know, how you are now, how that impacts you. You feel, you feel what these folks are going through, and that's evident by what you're doing. But since you referenced that video, we'll take a minute here. We'll do that.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Good morning, welcome to Fish Fry. One of the questions we ask people is, have you ever been fishing before? And who took them fishing? Who was the person that showed them how to fish? Okay, and you like fishing, that's what he likes. What does he like about it?
¿Qué tú estás de pescando?
La paciencia.
Huh?
La paciencia que uno
The patience that it brings.
The patience that it brings. Oh! Yeah. All right, so last question. Is he going to catch more fish than his brother? Yeah.
That was absolutely incredible. That was so awesome. Wow. Patrick, in what kind of ways do you feel like that you can clearly see you have made a difference and an impact in some of these young people's lives?
I'm 52 years old, so I've worked with so many people. It's like daily. I get guys hitting me up. I have a guy who's eating garbage out. They found him eating. Him and his sister locked up in the garage, and they were eating garbage out in the garage, locked up. But now he's went in the army. Out of the army, has 2 kids. He's married. Next month I'm going down to Florida. I'm gonna check him out, and he has no family. You know, he calls me pops. You know, and like all the different people I worked with, I still stay with them, especially and the ones who made it. So they reach out all the time.
How large is your list of folks that have worked with you? Like, I mean, in terms of like impact, that reach has gone to what, 100 people so far, or?
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. I mean, I roll up to Burger King and I hear Coach. You know, I'm ordering my food and they're like, Coach, because I coach sports too. So, you know, like in our community, it's all over. You know, and like you're in a grocery store and then somebody, you know, Coach, or, you know, hey, Coach, and he's pushing a cart with a wife and babies. I have no idea who the kid is. Remember me from 15 years ago? Oh, yeah. Yeah. But then, you know, I always know who they are because they'll say something to bring me right back to when I was with them, you know.
It's powerful when you can have those kids reaching back to you after all those years, and you see that, you know, because you never know, and that's the beauty of what you do and what Dr. Khanna's initiative does, and all of us, you know, and anything that we do with this is you don't know the impact you do. You hope that you're having an impact, and then as you say, you see somebody that you know that you saw 15 years ago that was troubled. Now you see him at the grocery store with wife and couple kids. He's got his life together, and you know, hey, you know, you played a part in that. You know, if they remember you, then that means that you had a significant impact on doing that, and that's got to be powerful. It's got to be, you know, unbelievably rewarding for you.
That's the reward. Yes, sir. That's it. That's what keeps you in the game.
Yeah.
Now you talked about like just going out to the grocery store and having such a positive impact within the community, just on yours as yourself. With some of your kids that have gone through the fish fry program, those kids that have been previously incarcerated, how have you felt that they've made a positive impact within the community?
Oh, like I said, right now, the ones that we start out with, they're doing things in their community now. One of them works with the church. He's landscaping. Well, like I said, another guy is lined up to be with the boat captain next year. There's 2 other boat captains that we have, guys that are along the lines down the road. They'll be with them full time. But there's other men in the area besides me that do fishing stuff for the kids with me as well as on their own. So some of the kids are really into it. And they learn work ethic too out of it. I think they it's not you come home from fishing, you're tired, you don't want to clean the fish, but hey guys, we gotta clean these fish. Oh, we killed them, we gotta clean them. So they learn work ethic. I think also what we do too, which is huge, they learn to when we catch a lot of fish, we'll bring them to elderly. I have a lot of elderly people, so they learn compassion like that, learn to sustain their families. The young man you were talking about that said he learned patience, couldn't speak English.
Right.
And he went home to 10 kids in a family, went home with 80 pounds of fish.
Wow.
And, so that's like back in the day, the hunter in the tribe coming home with the deer that he killed, he fed the whole tribe. So it's a good feeling. And the mom was very appreciative.
So yeah, you have a very profound impact on that family. They see that he gets that feeling of accomplishment of doing something and that pride and have a little fun along the way with it. That's the great thing. And whether they know it or not, they're learning some things. They're getting some very, very valuable life lessons. And that's the thing. I think just watching, fishing and hunting and all those things are great skills to have. But another element that we talk about, we kind of dance with is being exposed to people like yourself, the people that do give back to the community, that do see that higher purpose and seeing that positive role model, being that role model, just in the community. And I think that's a very profound thing. It teaches these kids a lot of things, but it does show them that, hey, there's no matter who you are, where you are, whatever, there's ways that you can reach out. There's ways that you can be involved and you can have an impact on somebody's life doing something that you love, doing something that you're passionate about, and you can share that with other people and make that your calling. And that's a blessing for all of us. But if we can find the ability to do that, that's is wonderful. But when other folks can see it and we can share that end of it as well, you usually call it the compassion, but that willingness to step out of your body and share your passions and your hobbies and your things with other people, I think is very rewarding, very, very powerful. So
now I'm seeing here, just in a couple of my notes, like over the past 12 years with running the fish fry, you have supported and impacted the lives of over 300 youth through this program. And it's probably a lot more than that. And this is all on a very strong, vulnerable basis with these individuals. What were you doing before you started Fish Fry? What was your journey to get to the fish fry moment? Like when you were youth to here, like what was your journey to getting to here? I know that your parents also fish, and so it was in your blood, but
right.
What was your journey?
I don't go into it. I had my own personal struggles with stuff too. My father's alcoholic. He's actually my father's a sex story. He's a certified drug and alcohol counselor. And when I used to tell people, and I tell them, if my father could quit drinking and become sober, then anybody alive can do it. That's how I felt. That's how bad off he was. And, you know, I don't really want to go through too much of what I went through with that because he's going to see this. You know that it was more good than bad, man. You know what I mean? It was more good than bad. And it's just something that we went through. You know, my father's last day of drinking, he tried to shoot me. So, and he hasn't had a drink since that day. And I'm proud of him where he's at now. I mean, his coon dog stunk when he was drinking. Now his dogs are Grand Night champions and stuff like that, you know, so much better life. But I went through my own stuff. I could be in jail. I have friends that went to jail or out of jail now come to me and, hey, man, I want to fish because they don't want to go back to that. So I carry a lot of guys who are out of jail. A lot are many of my friends, you know, because I'm lucky that I'm not there or what have you. And I know that they're good people and, you know, they got a good heart, and just fishing takes you away from that. But what it was for me was to get out of trouble. To get out of trouble, it was better for me to be fishing. And I started fishing, and then I went to college, played football, and I tore my hamstring and went into depression. That's when I started using drugs and alcohol out of control because I couldn't, you know, went on a scholarship, played football, I was done. So went into depression, and then I came from college back from, I went to college in North Carolina. I came back home to Connecticut, and I went to Waterford Country School, and that's where I worked with the kids. That was how I got to there, you know, working with kids, just because I could relate. You know, I could just relate to the stuff they've been through. Like, sure. You're not gonna have to be that way your whole life. You know?
What was the age group when you went to the second school? Like, what was that age group of kids that you started working with initially?
They had units, so it was from little guys, 8, 9, 10. I think one unit was 8, 9, 10. The next one is 10, 11, 12, then teenagers. And then the older kids that were transitioning, they have like an emergency shelter, like the older kids that are out of control. Cops take them out of their home. They go there until they have a place for them to go. So like I said, the whole spectrum. You know, I was exposed to little kids that you know, I had a 10-year-old car thief. He was at this place because he literally couldn't see over the steering wheel, like couldn't see. He crashed the car. We did a haunted house, and we did a haunted house for the community, and he borrowed a screwdriver from one of the staff and went out and stole a car, drove it 2 hours to where he lived, and just gave it to somebody on the street. Said, here. We found the car all smashed up, but wow. Yeah, so the whole group, young ones to teenagers, 26-year-olds, adults.
And it was from that moment where you were like, you were just compelled to need to do something to help give guidance.
I think it was just what I was good at. I think it was just when I went there, going through what I went through and going to the country school, I was good at it. And I kind of feel good at it still, at what I do, you know. But like I said, I couldn't change your oil or do your brakes on your car, but I do people. That's what I do. Get along with everybody, like I said. So
yeah, I know watching, you know, the videos and things that you know that I've seen on your Facebook page, and that just the interactions that, you know, you can tell that you love dealing with people, and that you really, you know, get into that. You love your fishing, you love that, and just seeing that, you know, that sharing that experience with anybody, young people, adults, grandmas, anybody that's coming out there with these kids. It's just it's a you know, potential life-changing moment for them, and I think you grasp that, and you make that, you know, you could just see the excitement, the passion that you have for it, and it's exciting. It's infectious. I'm sitting there watching this in my house this afternoon, and I'm like, I'm gonna go grab a fishing pole. I'm going to Connecticut. So, but
usually
no,
usually it's in the morning when people wake up. They have their cup of coffee and they sit down and do their business, looking up fish fry first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
like their newspaper.
it's but it's cool to see, because you can see some of the kids are like, they're hesitant. They're like, okay, I don't know what this is. I'm not sure but as it goes through the experience, and you see, these kids like coming in, catching his, big one kid had the biggest fish on the boat of the day, and just the pride and him getting a trophy, and
his father died last year. His father's a football coach, died last year, and mom, single mom. And he isn't into sports. Yeah. So, and she was like, she called me like, can you pick him up, take him out, do something? Well, we fishing. We found it. And he caught the biggest fish and got to meet the boat captain. Yeah. So, and he's going to be going to, marine technology school.
Wow.
So
that's
awesome. That was huge. And the trophy, like my buddy just gave me like, yo, we got this trophy from last year still. I was like, boom. We're going to give it to the person who catches the biggest fish. And it just happened to be him. And now you're talking about the whole boat. I had 20 kids. The boat had 40 people on it, 40 something people, close to 50. So he had the biggest fish out of 50 people. Yeah, and it was the first time fishing for him. So he's hooked forever. That's what I do. I make sure that they catch. Yeah. If they don't catch, oh man, it's boring, So
give that reward, but seeing the pride in that young man's face when he's there standing with that trophy, and that's you're talking about, that's the biggest fish on the boat, and that got me going. I was just like, this is it. You can see that's potentially that's a moment that can be potentially life-changing for him. It shows that as you said, his dad's no longer there, but that doesn't mean there's not people that care about him. That he's got somebody that he can reach out to. He's got people that are looking out for him and helping him find his path and his success. And that's, and recognizing when he's accomplishing things and doing things. And that's awesome. That's, that's because that people always talk about the journey back from addiction or from depression. And that said, that the answer to that is involvement, is being connected to people, to something else bigger than yourself. And I think this is, what you're doing with Fish Fry, in other aspects of the community, is teaching that, giving that connection, but it's also showing how to take that back in, and as you said, providing food for the elderly, for when you have an abundance, and just how we are all just part of a community. We're not just living our lives as ourselves. And I think that's a huge element for folks that are struggling, that feel isolated, as many of these people do. If post-incarcerated folks, people that have behavioral struggles or anything like that, a lot of times that's, they feel ostracized. They feel like they're outside, that there's nobody else, that they're fighting this battle by themselves. And what you're providing to them and is similar to what, in a similar vein is what we provide, is that connection to other people that are in similar situations, similarly feeling lost. And I think that, when you can see that, and Angelica and I talk about it all the time on this show, is when you can see the light bulbs kick on and see these people feeling that they're not in this thing alone. They don't have to fight this battle. They've been fighting this battle their life, but they don't have to fight it themselves. They've got other people. And that is, and just watching just some of the videos that you've got up there, I can see that happen on a daily basis in your program, and that's inspiring. That's awesome.
Ryan,
thank you for that.
Ryan, you hit the nail right on the head there, because that is one of the things that we do talk a lot about on this show, especially in dealing with the pride, the connection aspect. We talk about hope all the time, because we do want people to have, especially those who are listening, those that may be post-incarcerated, if you are able to hear this show, making sure that we provide that hope that people can have. And of course, being in a program like Fish Fry, they are able to have that sense of hope, something to look forward to have a connection to, people to have connection to, and something to be prideful about, and to rehab hope again. Like, because a lot of people, when they are incarcerated, they lose hope. They do fall into despair. And so to reestablish that moment is amazing. So I got another question for you, Patrick. What does a typical day on the boat like look like? Like if we were to go out right now in a 24-hour span, like or 12-hour span, or however long they're on the boat, what does like one day on the boat look like, feel like, smell like? What is that type of
on my end?
yeah.
My end, I'm Dr. Hooks all day. Kids are having fun, I want to just go back real quick to something you said, and like to your viewers, I don't know who's watching, but all of us, all people, I don't care if you're post-incarcerated, what you are, we all experience the emotion of depression at sometimes, and feeling sad and depressed and lost, like what you said. So I'll tell everybody out there that's hearing me, the one thing that you could do, and I learned it from my friend that told me, he said, hey, he learned it from somewhere that they said, if you're suffering from depression, sometimes you could walk through the woods. And that's a way of therapy, because your mind is only thinking about how to navigate through the woods. So go on a hike through the woods if you're feeling depressed or your mind or whatever, because I didn't know the clinical thing behind it is because you're thinking on how to navigate through the woods. And then also I'll sprinkle in something else. If you're feeling depressed, go sit in the sun, go sit by the ocean, breathe in the air, breathe it out, it's free. Breathe deep, deep breaths. They call me Never Quit because of Jimmy Valvano, but never quit, never give up. All right? Forgot your question, sorry.
What does a day on the boat look like?
Oh, okay.
Those of us who, like if we've got some folks that are currently incarcerated and they want to be able to join Fish Fry when they get out, I want to know, what does the day on the boat look like, or sound like, or feel like?
All right, so most folks I've been dealing with, they either come as a group and they get dropped off to the boat, and I'm already there and I wait for them to get there. I work with an organization called Community Speaks Out, and that's their clientele. So I'm the guy that goes on the boat with them. So they're hitting me up the night before on a big trip. I think on a clip that you got, I took them to Cape Cod for big stripers. So these guys were hitting me up the day before, like, you're not going to cancel, right? It's raining, right? The wind, they didn't care what it was. They were going. And I don't care if it's a kid or an adult. They're excited. They're amped. They're happy to be there. I haven't had any trip ever with a single person that wasn't at peace, chilling, glad to be there. So the excitement is real. As far as the kids, it's like, it's a big deal to be going on a boat. And for a lot of people, and that, like with the night crawls, you don't know a night crawl. So my guess is you've probably never been on a deep sea charter boat fishing trip. So if you did, it's a cool experience. It's something anybody would want to enjoy. And the kids are just amped up from the beginning. And the adults, the smack talking starts with the adults. It's smack talking right away because my dad's on a trip with us most times. And that's what we do as fishermen. That just comes with it. You got to have bragging rights and talking. So the adults, and in that clip there with those guys, they had a blast. They had side bets going, different things going for it. And the kids, like mom, you see the clip, baby's dad passed away a year ago. So in the clip, mom's hugged up on the kid is smiling the whole time, and he's happy. And, he told me himself that they never catch fish, that he's bitten and doesn't catch fish. And I promised him he's going to catch fish. I put myself out there and promised him he's going to catch fish. So once he started doing it, I'm like, okay, that made me relax a little bit. Every kid that went fishing caught fish. They were all excited. Like I said, what touches my heart is the two kids that could not speak English. They were in this country. They can't speak English. I just so happened one of my members was out of jail, and he has court tomorrow for a serious charge. And he had clearance with the company that provided the trip, and he's able to be with the kids. And it just so happened I was blessed that he's bilingual, and he was able to communicate with them the whole trip. And you heard the kid say he liked patience, that he was learning patience from it. I wouldn't have known if I didn't have a crew guy that spoke bilingual or whatever. So even there's kids that can't even speak English that are excited, happy, thankful. And then their faces when they go home to 10 people in the family and they come home with 80 pounds of fish, half of them were filleted. So the excitement level, the stress level for me, I gotta be real. I mean, the pole's $175 and I got a little kid hanging on to it. You know, and you'll hear me in the video, hold on to that pole, hold on to that pole. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. And guys, you'll have to stop me because never quit. You know, I keep going. So
Well, that's what we're asking. We want to know what that day is like. And so when we, getting those kids, like you said, there's 40, 50 kids that's on a boat all at one time. They all have their own poles or because that's a lot of poles.
well, see, yeah, I get donations, but like the saltwater gear is really expensive, and so we got to use their poles, which
Okay.
costs us more money per kid. So yeah, so we only had 20 kids on there. They do have a class that locks onto there, its own case. Last year we did have a pole go over, but we were able to retrieve it. Somehow we were able to catch it, which was incredible. I was so lucky. But yeah.
And then how are you able to facilitate helping every single one of those kids catch? Or does it happen every single time they go on the boat?
Well, we're Fish Fry, Angelica. We catch fish every time.
Well, there it is.
Silly Angelica.
I have my crew members, like I said, I have 3 guys that have been incarcerated that are my crew. So I have 5 crew members and I had 20 kids. So my 5 crew, I lined them up. The Spanish speaking kids were with Rumsey, those guys bilingual, and I was in between there. So, we'll hook, like the guy that you just saw, he's still here. He's waiting for me to take him fishing right now. We're going night fishing. And yeah, sometimes I'll hook the fish for them and give them the pole. And the last 2 nights, I've done that for him, but I'm not doing that for him tonight. He's waiting.
Last night, I got that picture,
He caught it himself.
He caught a sea robin on his own. So, but yeah, so you see, asked like, yeah. When I first started out fishing, he wouldn't bait the hook. Now he'll take the fish off the hook, and it's like, yo, you gotta do that on your own.
Right.
Never quits fishing over here.
When does the night fishing start? Like, what time do you have to like kind of get out there? Is it like in the middle of the night, or is it like as soon as it gets dark? Or
on the boat, when we go on a boat, the kids got to be at the dock at like 6:30. Check everybody in. Boat launches at 7. We're back in at 3. Got like an hour and a half boat ride where the kids can play cards, they play chess. I will admit they use their phones, but not once we start fishing. I don't have a rule that you can't use your phone, but once we start fishing, they don't use their phones.
It's not really any time to.
They won't. Just maybe take a picture, but I do all that. I run around, take the pictures and the videos. So, but
that is extraordinary.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Is it so? I do want to get into where can we find you? Are you on Facebook? What's your social media handles? What's the website? How do folks find out more about Fish Fry?
Basically, like I said, to be honest with you, I'm a grassroots organization. Just you have to punch in Fish Fry on Facebook. Just punch in Fish Fry, will come up. Join it, and that helps us. The more members we have members all across the world, all across the country, Alaska, everywhere. And they just post videos of themselves catching fish or their kids catching fish. So they're basically creating memories for themselves, for their families over the years as well. Like I could go back 10 years and see my little boy holding up a fish. I have that recorded. So can somebody in Chicago or Florida if they've been on Fish Fry that long. I have kids when they're little, and now the kid went to homecoming yesterday, and I had him when he was a little boy. So yeah. You can find us on Facebook, Fish Fry, just punch it in. And then you also have the ability to invite others. So anybody who's into fishing or camping or into what we do, invite them, please. I'll be watching our numbers to make sure they go up.
Okay, is there a separate website or is it just facebook.com/fishfry?
Yep, just jump in on Facebook and punch in Fish Fry. Simple as that. I'm on Instagram, but I just have a light following. That's called Fish Fry Tanked.
Fish Fry Tanked on Instagram.
Tank. That's on Instagram.
Facebook.com/Fish Fry or on Instagram at Fish Fry Tanked. That's that's a TANKED.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Tank.
I'm big into my fish tanks. I got a fish tank in my bathroom. I have fish tanks all over.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And what are some of the types of fish that you guys usually catch?
Well, we catch black sea bass, which is very expensive, like $18 a pound. We catch tautog is blackfish. That's very expensive. We catch striped bass is highly sought after fish. We got a really good fishery up here, and saltwater and freshwater. Freshwater, of course, we have largemouth bass, calico, perch, catfish, pickerel, and pickerel's bony. But yeah, we have pickerel.
They're good fighting fish.
Yeah, they fight good. So yeah, we have all different kinds of fish here. Me and my buddy here, when we hang up, we're gonna go to, I don't know if you ever heard of Mystic, Connecticut. It's where the whaling ships come in, and we're gonna go night fishing for some striped bass.
This time not catch a sea robin because I think
Alright.
people gonna show.
Hold on.
What is the
Eric's excited. He wants to get back. He wants to get out there. Tell his story.
Yeah.
Eddie, what's the average weight of that type of a striped bass?
Oh, striped bass would be 80 pounds. It can be, I think the record is 80 pounds. It varies.
Let me look it up.
It has to be 28 inches to keep. No, that's okay.
28 inches to keep. So if it's not 28 inches yet, then it's like
You gotta let it go, or it's a $2,500 fine.
Wow.
And
From
me,
where?
and we came from DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, because it's, we're trying to protect the fisheries. But we were in a situation where me and Eric caught one 24 inches, but the hook went down so far that the fish, we call it gut hooked. So the fish died.
Yeah.
And so in that case, we had to bring it home and eat it.
Yeah.
But you're risking a $2,500 fine doing that. They literally expect you, if you're homeless and you don't have anything to eat and you catch a 24-inch striper, that's about 8 pounds of meat, they expect you to throw it back in the water and it's dead. I won't do that,
Wow. I want to get into this this other video that we have from your team. And again, if you guys have not checked out Fish Fry, please go and visit facebook.com/fishfry or on Instagram at Fish Fry Tanked. It's TANKED on Instagram. But right now, let's get into this wonderful video.
Catch 'em, clean, cook 'em, eat 'em. Catch 'em, clean. Fish fry, baby. Fish fry, baby. Cook 'em. Catch 'em, clean. Cook 'em. Eat 'em. Catch 'em, clean. Fish fry, baby. Clean. Cook 'em. Don't get too excited. Catch 'em. Clean 'em. Cook 'em. Eat 'em. Catch 'em. Catch 'em. Hey, put some emphasis in it. Happy. Let's hear it. Do it again. Cook 'em. Eat 'em.
Awesome. That is so cool. We love it. Thank you so much, Patrick, for being
Hey,
here
thank
today.
you.
I mean, do you have any words of encouragement, anything that you would want to say to those that are listening to this program right now, whether they're listening on Facebook or on Instagram or excuse me, on YouTube or even on the radio in New York? What would you say to some of those kids or some of the youth that are listening to the show?
I would say love life every day. Never quit, never give up. When you wake up every morning, try to do something to help your situation out. And for me, I'm spiritual, man. I believe you pray. I pray. And I encourage people to pray. If there's things you can't answer, just try it. Try to pray and see. God will hear you. God will hear your prayers. And for the folks that don't believe in God, like I said, go sit by the ocean, breathe in the sun, breathe it in. Deep breaths. Jimmy Valvano said the same thing. Deep breaths, laugh every day. Try to look for the good. Don't focus on the bad. Never quit.
I love that.
See, that's why I like him, Angelica. We talk about that all the time with ours is, people here, all we hear in our society is no, what you can't do, what you're not capable of, all the bad things. And what we want to do is focus on the positive, focus on the things that we can do, focus on the wonderful things that are out there in the world and know that you're not in this by yourself. And Patrick, thank you very much for
Thank
what
you
you
guys.
do
I appreciate it.
and for being with us today, because that's very it's powerful to see what you're doing and the lives that you've changed and are continuing to change.
Thank you guys for your kind words. I appreciate it. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
Before
Good
you
luck to
leave,
guys.
before you leave, how many kids do you guys have tonight on the boat? Because I know you guys are going out tonight. How many kids do you have tonight?
Tonight is just me and my guys, and me and my one-on-one. See, he's able to. I'm in here doing an interview right now. You know, I can't do that with everybody. He's special. You know what I mean? So it's a one-on-one trip. We're going. Look up Mystic, Connecticut. It's a cool spot where we're going. And yeah.
What is some of the magic behind Mystic, Connecticut?
It's like a boating town, a whaling ship. Yeah, go ahead. You can explain. Eric's gonna explain it to you.
Welcome, Eric. Hi, how are you?
Mystic is the wedding capital of the world, like New London. We have Mystic Seaport. So as the wedding ships come in, they get repaired on. If you look up Mystic Seaport, it's basically, and then we have historical downtown Mystic, that's where we go fishing. It's the downtown district. Already did 2 lakes.
What's your favorite part about it, Eric?
It's the joy. Being the feel of the waves hitting the pole. When that lure's moving around, you can feel it. And the nibbles. That's the best part about fishing. Is catching that fish. And the fight they put up, it's no joke up here.
I can imagine with a 40-pound fish, or so bigger, that's got to put up quite a fight for you. So,
yeah.
Wow, what an extraordinary feeling! What an extraordinary feeling of joy and pride.
We'll send you a picture, guys, if we have success tonight.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love that.
On there already.
Yeah, he's on Facebook already now too.
Awesome. We'll be watching that, and as I said, when I get up to Connecticut, I'm gonna look you up. We'll go out and take me out and teach me a few things, because
Any time of year.
This Midwestern boy doesn't know anything about deep sea fishing, so he can teach me all about it.
Any time of year, man. We got it.
I've gone whale watching a few times, and I've been on a boat a couple of times, but I've never had to. There's always.
You sound like a Cali girl. We got to get you dirty out here.
I am a Cali girl. I'm in California right now. That's where we're at. So yeah. But wow, we are so grateful, Eric and Patrick. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And for telling
Give
us
him fish fry, baby.
Yes,
Fish fry, baby. Say it.
Make sure you guys go and visit Fish Fry. That's on Facebook, facebook.com/Fish Fry. Also on Instagram at Fish Fry Tank. And of course, as always, if you have not tuned in to Dr. Khanna's show, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Returning Youth. You can find us on YouTube and just search in Returning Youth. And of course, on the website at returningyouth.com. And every single Friday on WPAT 9:30 a.m. from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time in New York. So either way, find us. And if you are interested in being a county manager, we encourage you to go to our website. We want to hear from you. Whatever state that you are in, we want to get to every single county within the United States. So please look to our website, find out more information. If you want to donate, please be sure to hit that donate now button. Ryan, anything else you want to add in? Any updates, anything like that?
Well, things just continue to move on, and we're not in a position yet to make any bold announcements. We've got some new locations that I hear rumblings of that we should be that we're working on. A couple that I've got that I'm working on closely myself, and then some other ones around the country. So hopefully in the next few weeks or next month, or we'll have some exciting announcements for some new locations. But we're continuing to do things. Folks in Montana are continuing to rock and roll out there. The business they've got going out there at Marvel Vision Center is amazing, and it's just Dr. Khanna's initiative is changing lives on a daily basis, and it's just help us grow, help us come to your community, and we reach out to us, and we reach out to me directly at Ryan at Returning Youth, and we'll be happy to get in touch with you, get things going in your area if you and let us know.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Patrick. Thank you again, Eric. And we will have a great time next week, and have a great time on the boat tonight. And we'll see you all again next week, same time, Friday at 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern time on WPAT 930 a.m.
Hey, Angelica.
Yes.
Can I get a fish fry, baby? That's what we do.
Oh, absolutely. Fish fry, baby. I'm all for it.
You rock. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Patrick.
Bye.